Over the years, I've lost count of the amount of people that have come across this YouTube channel and then emailed me to say that they're super keen to get started with Amazon FBA and they want to be selling in a few short months. The reality is though that the majority of the people that email me, they quickly lose interest and they don't even manage to complete the first few basic tasks before giving up. And that's not only because they lack the right direction and guidance, but also because they don't know enough about the process to confidently invest their money into a product that they want to sell. To solve this problem that so many people have, today I'm going to be running through a 30-day Amazon FBA action plan with the aim that it will guide you through the process to the point of selling a small and inexpensive product order so that you can experience what it's like to be an Amazon FBA seller as quickly as possible. The ultimate aim of this 30-day plan is that it will boost your confidence and motivation enough so that you take this Amazon FBA business model seriously so that you don't end up losing interest and then giving up on what could potentially be a life-changing income stream. So let's jump straight into my 30-day plan to get you selling with Amazon FBA. If you want to sell products with Amazon FBA, then you're going to need an Amazon sellers account, and you'll need to create one of those as a limited company or a sole trader. Most people choose to be a limited company because it's more efficient when it comes to how much tax you'll pay, so that would be my recommendation. Now, whilst creating your own company, that might sound like a daunting task, it's actually not, and nowadays you can set one up for as little as £12 in a few short hours. Depending on how confident you are at filling out some basic company creation forms, either head to the government's limited company creation site, fill out the form and then pay £12, or if you prefer to get somebody else to do it, speak with an accountancy firm such as Awesome, who will fill the forms on your behalf and get everything processed in a couple of days. Finding a long-term product to sell with Amazon FBA, that can take some people months to do. But because the process that we're running through now is designed to get you to just experience what it's like to be an Amazon FBA seller, we're able to accelerate the process of finding a product by focusing on 4 pieces of key criteria. The first is that the product sells at least 50 units a month. The second is that there is at least one seller achieving that minimum sales threshold with no more than 50 reviews. The third is that the product is profitable. And the fourth is that it's small enough to fit into a shoebox and lighter than 500 grams. And we have that criteria so that we can ship it by air and start selling ASAP. If you want to find great products to sell with Amazon FBA, then one of my favorite methods to use is with Helium 10's black box tool. And that allows you to search a huge product database and then filter the results according to how much money sellers are making. So to use this tool, create an account with Helium 10, which you can currently do for free using the link below this video or in my bio. Log in and then browse to the black box tool. Select the categories that you like the look of, input the target monthly revenue and price point of the product that you want to sell, and then press search. You'll then be shown hundreds of different product ideas that all have demand on Amazon, all of which you can consider selling. As soon as you find a product that sells at least 50 units per month with fewer than 50 reviews, if it seems small and lightweight and you like the look of it, add it to your shortlist and repeat the process until you've got at least 5 different product ideas. Once that's done, you can move on to the next step, which is verifying that there are at least 5 other sellers within each niche that you've just found that are all selling at least 50 units a month. It's super easy these days to find out exactly how many units of a product people are selling on Amazon. And you can do that by downloading the Helium 10 Chrome extension, creating an account with Helium 10 if you don't have one already, and then searching for a product on Amazon before pressing the X-ray button within the top right hand corner of your screen. You'll then be presented with a pop-up that will tell you exactly how many units are being sold each month by every single seller within the niche, as well as other things like how much money they're generating. This is an essential step to take in order to reduce the chances of you ordering a dud product that just won't sell, so make sure you never skip it. Remember, the minimum amount of sales that we're looking for in this case is 50 per month, coming from at least 5 different sellers. 5 or 6 days after your limited company has been set up, you'll then be able to create a business bank account, which is needed in order to set up your Amazon selling account. Whilst there are loads of different options to choose from, the best deal that I've seen is with Tide Bank, who give you £50 credit as soon as you deposit just £1. Just use the link in the description below to take advantage of this offer, and as soon as your application is approved, which can take up to 5 or so working days, you'll then get your account number, your sort code, and your digital debit card, which means that you can then move on to creating your Amazon selling account. Once you're happy with your product ideas shortlist and you've verified that there's demand from customers for at least 50 units a month, you can then start reaching out to suppliers of your product in order to calculate profitability and assess whether the product is going to be feasible to sell. Because we're going to be making a small order of 50 to 100 units, customizing the product and adding a brand to it, that's not going to be possible. But remember, that's not the purpose of our 30-day plan. The purpose of it is to experience what it's like to be an Amazon FBA private label seller, just to see if we like it. An experience that will ultimately boost our confidence, our motivation, and make us more likely to achieve success in the long run. In order to find the suppliers that are more likely to allow us to place that small first order, head to Alibaba.com and start searching for the supplier of the products that you're considering selling. As soon as you find a supplier that has good reviews and a decent looking listing, message them and tell them that you're a business that's looking to place a sample order of 50 to 100 units in order to assess quality and to test the marketplace that you're intending on selling in. Make it clear that you don't need them to customize the product. The order is purely to test the market, and that way they'll be more open to you placing a smaller order. Within your message, you should also ask them for the unit price and the shipping cost to an Amazon fulfillment center. Once they give you these figures, plug them into my profit calculator along with the expected Amazon fees, and make sure that the margin is at least 15%. This amount is actually lower than what I would normally recommend, which is 30%. But given that this is just a test order so that we can get some experience, we can be a bit more flexible with what is an acceptable profit margin. Typically, most suppliers for selling Amazon FBA products can be found on Alibaba.com. But if you want to place a small order of 100 units or less, you may find that when you contact them, the suppliers don't want to work with you because they don't think you're serious. Now, if that happens, the first thing to do is to explain to them that you are an established business that wants to place a much bigger order in the future, just as soon as you've been able to test the market. If they still aren't willing to sell you a lower quantity, try and find out why so that you can solve the problem. For example, I had a scenario once where I wanted to buy 100 units, but the supplier said no, because the minimum amount of packaging boxes that they would have to order to help me was 500 units. So to solve the problem, I offered to pay for 100 units and 500 packaging boxes, which they accepted. And I was able to use those boxes on future orders. But even if I hadn't of, the average unit cost would have gone up by pennies. So always try to dig deeper and find the reason that your supplier is pushing back if you try to place a small order. If they still won't have it, then head to aliexpress.com, where you will find suppliers that are open to smaller orders. But the downside is that the unit cost is likely to be a bit higher than on Alibaba, but at least it's going to allow you to make that smaller order. Based on the responses that you get from the different suppliers that you message, assess which product from your shortlist that you have the most confidence in selling, and then let the supplier know that you want to place an order of 50 to 100 units. By now, your limited account should be set up, your bank account created, and that means that you can now move on to setting up your Amazon sellers account. The process isn't actually as easy as it should be, so my one tip is to do it when you've had a good night's rest and you're able to think clearly. When asked what type of seller you are, select either sole proprietor, which means sole trader, or private entity, which means you are a limited company. And when filling out any details that you're asked for, just make sure that you triple check that there are no spelling mistakes and that all of your details match exactly. Failing to do that is going to mean that you won't pass verification and you'll probably be banned from selling before you've even started. But provided that you take your time when you're filling out the registration form and you ensure that you have your bank details, your company name and your debit card to hand, you should be accepted and ready to start selling after you've been verified, which usually takes 2 to 3 days. Every Amazon FBA product has a product listing, and that comprises of a title, bullet points, description, and pictures, all items that the customer will look through before they decide whether they want to make a purchase. When putting your products listing together, make sure that everything that you write makes sense, and use your competition for guidance on the type of content to include. Don't think that because this is a smaller order that you can skip this part. Having a compelling listing, that is going to make or break whether your experience with selling on Amazon is a good one. So take your time and do it properly. Think about the problems that your product solves, why the customer should choose you over your competition, and then write it down, including relevant keywords throughout the title, bullet points, and so on. That's really important to do. So use Helium 10's Cerebro and Magnet tools to tell you what the right keywords are. With pictures, you're going to have to rely on your supplier's help here. So ask them to send you what they've got, including any product renders that they might have. And as soon as they send something over, hire an image editor on Fiverr to tidy them up and make sure that they look professional and compelling. In order to bypass Amazon's requirement to provide a barcode number when you create your listing, simply search the Amazon dashboard for GTN exemption form, select the category that you want to sell in, and then apply for the brand name generic. This should be approved instantly and means that you can list your product without any errors or approvals. If you found your supplier on Alibaba, then you can pay your deposit or the entire owed amount with your credit card for an extra layer of protection, or a cheaper way to do it without that extra layer is to do a bank transfer with a bank such as Wise. Once your supplier has confirmed that the goods are ready for dispatch, which shouldn't take too long given that we're just placing a small order and we're not customizing any of the product, ask them for the packing list. And that is basically a document that describes the size and weight of your shipment. You'll then need to tell Amazon that your product is ready and it's on its way to their warehouse, which you need to do by logging into Seller Central, browsing to the Shipments tab, and then clicking Send to Amazon. There, you should input the number of units that you're sending and the weight and dimensions of each box that will be holding your product. And once you've completed that, you'll be given Amazon's shipping labels that you'll be able to send to your supplier, who will stick them onto each box. If you chose a product that's small and lightweight per my recommendation, then it should be economical to ship it by air. But if not, you can of course ship by sea. But just note that this shipping method takes a little longer, around 6 weeks in total. If you're shipping by air, then the shipping time shouldn't be more than 10 days or so. But regardless of which method you choose, as soon as Amazon receives your goods, you'll receive an email notification that says, good news, your shipment has been checked in, and in a matter of days, you're going to be experiencing what it's like to be an Amazon seller. After a couple of days of waiting for Amazon to check in and receive your product, a number of units should become available for customers to start purchasing. Once that happens, you'll need to do a number of things in order to increase your product's visibility and to start driving sales. To get your product seen by as many people as possible, throughout your entire Amazon selling careers, you're going to need to make use of Amazon's advertising platform, and that is pay per click, i.e. you're only charged for an ad once a customer clicks on it and views your listing. Because you're probably new to Amazon's advertising platform and you've never experienced PPC before, my advice is to create an automatic campaign, and that essentially lets Amazon determine when and where you appear in the search results. Start with a modest budget of £10 or $10 a day and review your campaign's performance every single day by looking at the keywords that are getting the most clicks. If they're irrelevant or they're costing you too much, then you can remove them from your campaigns so that you don't get charged for them anymore. To increase your product's conversion even further during your launch period, start selling with a lower price point versus your competition. And if you can give your customers an immediate reason to buy from you versus anybody else, they'll be left with no choice but to make the purchase, increasing your sales, increasing your conversion, which will ultimately contribute to you appearing higher in the search results and generating sales very quickly. Provided that your listing is good, your offer price is right, and your advertising campaigns are allowing your customers to find you, there's no reason why your product won't sell out over the course of the next 6 weeks or so. But regardless of how quickly or slowly it does sell, you are going to be gaining a ton of experience that you simply wouldn't have gotten had you just sat on the sidelines trapped with analysis paralysis doing product research. Whilst this 30-day plan, it might seem like it's a lot to take in and something that's quite difficult to follow, I promise you, once you have gone through this process the first time round and you've got that experience of being an Amazon seller, when you start doing your product research for your long-term product, you're going to find the process much, much easier, and you're going to stay committed, stay motivated, and you're ultimately going to have a much higher chance of success. I started selling with Amazon FBA in 2018 with no experience, and I've since gone on to grow my business to generate 6 figures of profit per year. And if I can do that, so can you. So I hope that you've enjoyed this 30-day plan and it keeps you motivated and committed to the goal of being a long-term Amazon FBA seller. If you need some additional guidance on the steps to follow, you can download my free Amazon FBA checklist in the description below, or if you want to be guided by me step by step, you can also find details of my mentorship scheme, the Smashers Academy. Hope you have enjoyed this video. Remember to subscribe for more Amazon FBA related content. I'll see you guys next time.